Brought to you by StationHouseCoffee.com and InspiredDisorder.com/music.
What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
UFC on ESPN. Munhoz versus Edgar happened this past Saturday, August 22nd, from the Apex in Las Vegas. And it was a fun card, kind of a quick card, because OSP tested positive for coronavirus, so his fight was pulled, which is a bummer. I was looking forward to seeing him do another, what is that choke called? Von Fluke choke? The OSP choke? So didn't get to see that, but it was a fun night of fights. I was happy and excited to watch the main event. I'm glad that happened. Frankie Edgar finally making his bantamweight debut. One of my favorite fighters of all time, Frankie Edgar, the answer, against Pedro Munoz, who up until Saturday was undefeated. Spoiler alert, Pedro Munoz lost the fight, went to a decision. But I haven't really seen anybody think that Munoz won it. I'm sure there are people out there. Most people scored it for Edgar. I thought Edgar won it. Munoz, I think going into the final round, I think it was tied 2-2. I think Munoz had the first and third round, and then Frankie had the other rounds. Frankie is Frankie, man. He fought how he fights. Tons of movement, great combinations, not as much takedown, but he did threaten with it enough to really kind of break up the strategy of Munoz. But yeah, just a great performance from Edgar. Landed a bunch of shots and combinations. And Munoz really, he did a good job trying to chop down that lead leg of Frankie Edgar. And towards the end of the fight, Frankie was limping, but it wasn't enough to end the fight. I think if he attacked it more throughout the earlier rounds, he probably would have been able to get a finish, or at least slow Edgar down enough to land. But Munoz was just throwing big bombs, one shot at a time, no real combinations, not really setting it up. And Frankie just amazing footwork, amazing boxing, and I'm excited to see what he can do in bantamweight. I mean, he looks just as good as he's ever looked. So we'll see. And Munoz was no joke. So it'll be interesting to see who Frankie fights next. I know there's been a lot of people posting him versus Cruz, which I am totally fine with. Dominic Cruz getting in there with the legend. It'd be two legends in the sport fighting would be amazing. Dominic was on the mic as a commentator, and I am outwardly vocal about how much I dislike Dominic Cruz as a commentator. I think he's amazing breaking down fights. I think he's a great fighter. I think he's great in every other aspect of MMA that he does, especially his breakdown stuff. He's brilliant. But as far as being able to speak on a microphone, live, on the fly, not good, man. Bucket of cookies. He ate that up like a bucket of cookies. Like, the dude just grabs at words sometimes, and it's just the most ridiculous thing. So I would much rather see Dominic fight Frankie Edgar. I think that would be an amazing fight. And probably if Frankie gets it, I think that puts him right up there with as a challenger for the belt. So we'll see. I'm happy with Frankie Edgar. There were some fun fights, though. The co-main event that replaced the OSP fight, Mike Rodriguez looked great. Had just first off, he looked giant. He's like a big dude. But when he got that plum clinch, landing those knees and those elbows, it was just devastating. It was a great win for him. Let's see who else. Maria Agapova looked great in the first round, but gassed herself out and just, got dominated in the second. A lot of come from behind wins. Like a lot of fights where somebody kind of has an early, just looks dominant early and then ends up getting turned around and loses. Just a lot of those fights. It was just a fun night of fights. it's so much fun when you're watching a fight. And that Agapova fight against Shayna Dobson. Dobson, I guess, was the biggest underdog on the card, like an 8-1 underdog. So it was a great win for her. But just, yeah, overall fun night of fights. A quick night of fights considering the fight that was pulled. Usually there's like 12 to 13. But this one was a shorter card. But I still enjoyed it. It was still a lot of fun. And I'm glad Frankie Edgar won it. The dude, first off, it's crazy how many wars that guy's been in. And, still seems like he's the same old Frankie Edgar in a lot of ways. So moving on to next week, another fight. It's UFC Fight Night, Smith versus Rayquik, August 29th, again from Vegas, Apex. They announced a bunch of fights. I don't know if they announced where they're going to be, but I would imagine some of the upcoming fights are going to be back on Fight Island. But yeah, Anthony Smith coming back from his loss to Glover Teixeira. I don't think I ever watched that card. I missed it. It was like a midweek card right after they started. They brought the fights back with no audience. And I missed that one. He got devastated by Glover, but I still like Anthony Smith. I think he's this is going to be a good fight with Rayquik, who's kind of an up-and-comer. The co-main is Robbie Lawler versus Neil Magney. It's been a while since I've seen Robbie Lawler. I think he's coming off of a couple losses. Neil Magney I think Neil Magney's on a bit of a run, if I'm not mistaken. But always love watching Robbie Lawler. Another one of those old school guys like Frankie Edgar, who's been in the game forever and still looks good. Yeah, he's won 4 of his last 5, Neil Magney. And Robbie Lawler, I know he lost to... he's got 3 losses in a row. Oh, this is not good. He's won only 1 fight in his last 5. He lost to Tyron Woodley, lost the belt, then beat Donald Cerrone, which Cowboy, depends on the Cowboy, shows up, not shows up. Then he lost to Dos Anjos. Then he lost to Ben Askren, controversial. Then he lost to Colby Covington, which is disappointing. I'm not a fan of Colby Covington. Not many people are. I'm not a fan of his shtick either. I don't care if he's the nicest guy ever. If you pretend to be an asshole, you might as well just be it. But yeah, Robbie Lawler versus Neil Magney should be great. That's tough. If Robbie wins, it's going to be knockout, but I think Neil Magney could probably outlast him. We'll see, though. I'm excited for that one. Alexa Grasso versus Ji-Yeon Kim should be fun. Ricardo Lamas against somebody, don't know yet. Ion Kutalaba versus Magomed Ankalaev. That's going to be a crazy one. Ion Kutalaba's a crazy dude. See if there's any other names on here that Hannah Cyphers should be fun. Alex Caceres is back against Giga Chikadze. Should be fun. Emily Whitmire, Polyana Viana. That one's going to be fun. So looks like a fun night of fights from Vegas. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping Anthony Smith gets the win now that the light heavyweight division no longer has John Jones as the king. There's going to be a lot of exciting fights, I think, in the light heavyweight division with everybody. I think the belt's going to move around a bit. I don't think anybody's going to be holding on to it like John Jones is. Not even close. There's nobody. I mean, maybe if guess maybe what's his name? Reyes? Maybe. But even still, I don't think he's going to be. I think there's going to be a lot of close fights. I think the belt's probably going to pass around a bit. So we'll see. We will see. Usually that's what happens. It's very rare that you have a really dominant champion and then immediately after that having another dominant champion. It just really doesn't happen. It didn't happen when Ronda Rousey left. The belt passed around a few times before Amanda Nunes got it. GSP, I don't think it's I don't think it's been at all stable in that weight class. I think that's been passed around a bunch. After Anderson Silva lost his belt, it got passed around a bunch. So we'll see. We will see how that works out. Now that John Jones is gone, but I'm looking forward to the fights next Saturday. Looking forward to watching Anthony Smith fight again. Just the whole card in general. It looks like a lot of fun. Make sure you support our sponsor, StationHouseCoffee.com, and follow Station House Coffee on Instagram to get your small batch, single origin, premium coffee brewed in Vermont, shipped directly to you. Go to StationHouseCoffee.com and order your coffee today and tell them the Ray Taylor Show sent you. Also, get Amazon Music Unlimited for 30 days for free when you use my link, inspireddisorder.com/music. That's 60 million songs available at your fingertips. Stream anywhere on all devices when you get 30 days free of Amazon Music Unlimited by going through my link, inspireddisorder.com/music. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week ad-free over at patreon.com/inspireddisorder. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com. Follow the show on Instagram at Ray Taylor Show. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!